Good evening all and welcome to another video on All How's It Ale. It's Saturday the 29th of October, which means there's only 2 days left of Sober October, and the beer we're going for tonight is from Funky Fluid and HAYB. It's this one. It is HAYB, and HAYB is a cold brewed non-alcoholic stout. And by cold brew we mean coffee, of course. It contains specialty coffee from HAYB, HAYB Brewing, and it weighs in at 0.5% ABV, and it says on the back of the can that this is the non-alcoholic version of their stout beer with cold brew from HAYB Roastery. It is truly a morning beverage, although it's knocking on for, what time are we on now? 5:30 in the evening. It's truly a morning beverage, but it's perfect alongside your cereal. Well, I've just finished a homemade chicken tikka masala, so that's far from cereal as you could get. But your ingredients are water, barley malt, oat flakes, rye malt, wheat flakes, wheat malt, specialty coffee, lactose, hops and yeast. So I'm hoping for a nice body on this one. You've got a bitterness rating of 2 out of 5. So yeah, let's get it out into a glass and see what we think. I do like a good coffee, particularly in a stout. So this one is going to be poured into my AF Beer Club glass. It's not my usual stout glass, but what the hell. The pour is dark, roasty, and good looking. It's not going nuts. It's a nice pour on that. We've got a chunky head on that. Look at that. We've got a jet black beer, and unusually for alcohol-free stouts, it is jet black. Normally they're quite thin on the colour, and we've got a tan head. Dissipating a bit, but there's your beer in a glass. It looks nice. So it looks great. Let's have a whiff. Big coffee, huge coffee, roasted bitter dark coffee. Almost, even though it says 2 out of 5 on the bitterness, it's got the nose of an espresso that's been really well roasted. And by really well, I mean like excessively. It's heavy, almost smoked on the nose. I am verging on saying cigarette ash. Didn't expect that. That's what I'm getting hints of. Anyway, beer looks good. The head has dissipated. Shame, and it smells bitter and cigarette-y. Well, there we go. Looks like it's got some body to it. It does look like it's got some good body. That's the lactose at play and all those oats, hopefully. Anyway, let's have a taste. Cheers. The body's great. There's no getting away from that. It's still not as heavy as a fully leaded stout can be, but it's completely alcohol free. So you've got to, it's got to be a sacrifice, and body is usually one of them. Flavour is not. This is a big flavoured stout. There's roasted malts for sure. The coffee is dominant in a big way. So if you're not a big fan of coffee, then you're really not going to like this one. I love coffee. Excuse me. The slightly smoky aroma hits you when you first taste a beer, and then it fades away. So that is a pleasant thing. That aspect of the aroma I wasn't a big fan of, but it translates to a deep coffee note on the palate. There's a sweetness to it as well. Lactose always helps there. That milk sugar just balances everything out, and if that wasn't present, it could easily have been overdone and overly bitter. And you can see why they've given it the 2 out of 5 on the bitterness rating. Carbonation is smooth, really smooth, and in fact it's almost non-existent, to the point where yeah, it's really subtle on the tongue. And the finish is roasted malts, a little hint of sweetness, touch of chocolate, and more coffee. Lots more coffee. Well, that, boys and girls, is a game of two halves. So, before we go to my scoreboard of joy, we're going to go to the scoreboard of joy, the HAYB memoir from Untapped, which says that HAYB has had 323 check-ins. 2 people I know have tried it. Slightly under 3.5. Average overall 4.25 from 2 people I know. Ooh. Well, like I say, game of two halves for me. My scoreboard of joy is currently void of anything, so let's fill it in. Looks-wise, let's pour some more. It's a good-looking stout. You know, the colour is deep. That head, whilst it's there, I've done an aggressive pour there for a reason, just so you can see just how good the head looks while it's present. It's dark, it's brown, it looks like it should. I can't fault the appearance, apart from the fact that the head fades really quickly. I'm going to give it the 0.75 with that in mind. The aroma, I was disappointed with. I'm going to be honest. I love coffee stouts. It's one of the best things I can smell in a beer. You know, big, deep roasted malts, hints of berry notes and coffee. This one, you get the roasted malt, you get a bit of coffee, and then you get cigarette ash. Like I say, something is overdone here. And cold brew coffee should take away all of that when it's done properly, because it's a sweeter, less bitter thing overall. Yeah, the cigarette ash it's a real for me. I'm gonna give it the 0.25 because there are aspects I like, but the big smoky burnt ash thing just doesn't work for me. The body though does. It's medium weight. It's got a nice sort of mouthfeel purely from the lactose and the oat inclusion. It works really quite well. I'm gonna give it a point. And the taste, thankfully, has zero of that cigarette ash type vibe going on. It does have an initial bitterness that kind of, as I mentioned earlier on, hits from the nose. Then it fades into sweet, smooth, chocolatey coffee stout goodness. Once that initial bitterness and smokiness goes away, it's really quite well balanced. It's just that initial taste just really does hit home quite hard. I'm going to give it the 0.75. And the finish, it does what a stout should. It's got some bitterness, it's got some roasted malt, it's got a little bit of sweetness in the chocolate and the coffee as well. And I'm enjoying the aftertaste. It's sitting here now and it's pleasant. It really is quite nice. I'm going to give it a point. Which means that HAYB has got 3.75 out of 5 from me. Which means it can't have a bonus point. But would I buy it again? I'm going to be honest, I'm going to say no. Because that aroma is just so polarizing for me. I'm not a big fan. So yeah, so value for money. Well, see what I paid for it. Where's it hiding on the pick sheet? From the Wise Bartender, which is where I got it from. Here we go, £3.59. £3.59 for a beer that I wasn't overly keen on. If you could get away from that smokiness up front, it would be a different story, but not a fan. So I'm going to say no value for money for me. So yeah, HAYB has got 3.75 out of 5. There we go. I thought I was going to be saving one of the best ones for last towards the end of this month, but it wasn't meant to be. There we go. Can't win them all, can we? A bit like last night, really. This one has left me a little bit disappointed, although last night was a bigger disappointment. But yeah, nevertheless, there is something to like about it if you like big, smoky, coffee-flavoured beer. And on that note, we're going to leave it there and say, that has been the beer. I've been me. Those are the buttons. You know exactly what to do with them by now. You've got your like, comment, dislike, and subscribe. Choose any combination of them as you wish. And I'll see you again tomorrow for Sunday's beer. Bye.